Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. You don't need anything to start YouTubing, just your phone and your mind. But these next few things will help. I know I just turned the monitor and everything on, but it just kind of makes a bad glare, so just pretend like it's still on. As I just said, you don't really need much to create YouTube videos, just your phone and your mind. When I first started, I had this camera, a laptop, and this beautiful face, and also a tripod. But over the past 9 months or so, I've started to collect some things that make the job easier, and a word you're going to hear a lot in this video, streamline the process. When you're just starting out, you probably don't have an abundance of time. And by not having an abundance of time, you really need to make sure you're utilizing your time properly and trying not to waste time. Remember, you may not need these things. The great thing about YouTube is there's so many different varieties of channels, so many different varieties of topics, and so many different varieties of things that you can make. Can I say variety again? Let's start with on my desk. And obviously I have a desk and a chair. Just whatever you can afford for now is fine. But first, the most important thing on this list, a laptop. Get as much RAM and storage as you can afford. I couldn't, so I got a MacBook Air, but I'm already feeling the effects of how slow it makes my computer. But remember, we're just beginning, and the point is just to start actually making videos. Which brings me on to what I feel is my most valuable thing apart from the laptop, which is a hard drive. If you have intros, if you have certain text that you like to use, or things that you use in most of your videos, this is a good thing to put into a specific folder. This will help streamline, there's the word again, the process. So when you need something for your video, it's already there, you can just drag it across. It's also great to keep footage that you might need in the future, as well as for me before I had the hard drive, I was falling into constantly not having enough room to run my applications. Next, a microphone. I currently use the Rode NT USB microphone. It's great, it's cheap, it's only around $200, but the sound sounds amazing. It plugs right into your computer, and the great thing about it is it has a pop filter built in. This is great if you're using lots of poppy sounds. If you were to say Peter Piper picked a pile of pickled peppers, I'd recommend getting a pop filter. Cool? Great. I also have 2 channels, so I have 2 microphones. We'll get to the second microphone, but the Rode NT USB is good for my second channel, What the Net. It's all movies, movie theories. Make sure you give it a check out, it's linked below. But because of that video, I'm doing more visual storytelling on the computer, rather than being out and about on location. I find that this desk USB microphone works mint. This behind me that I pretended to turn on and now it's off again, this is a HP 27-inch monitor. Size isn't really that important, but I do have to say my parents were generous enough to get me this for Christmas, and it has been a lifesaver. I put it on a raise because it helps with my neck and just overall posture, but the benefit is I usually have the MacBook set up on one side and then the monitor set up in the middle, and take away having a great big monitor to actually look at, I'm able to multitask because I didn't get the best laptop and the computer can run slow at times with downloads and just rendering in general. I'm able to work on one thing on one screen whilst multitasking on another. It makes my job way easier and way quicker, and I'm cutting down on the time that I'm waiting. I also, with this combination, got a wireless keyboard and mouse. Never use the mouse. I'm not quite sure if it's because I'm left-handed, but I like using the trackpad on the laptop. It just makes it easier for me, but it's all personal preference. The wireless keyboard though, awesome. Got it from Kmart, only $20, but it's just a huge help. Now, do you guys want to see something cool? And this isn't because I filmed on 2 separate days. Not at all. But I'm gonna dry my hair out and change it instantly. Now that I have the monitor laptop combo set up, I also have one of these little adapters. You can get them at Kmart real cheap, just find the right one that matches your computer. Depending on what computer or MacBook you have, the cables will vary. And lastly on my desk, I have a notepad and pen. But just quickly, how I make my videos, I look at them more as short stories or short films. So once I think of an idea of a video that I want to make, I'll do my research, I'll write the script, but then what I do is I go through the script and I write down the storyboards. I don't physically draw them out, but what I do is I put numbers next to the dialogue of the script, and then in the notepad, I'll write out the kind of shot that I'm looking for. When you're on limited time and you work a full-time job, you have to really be as efficient as possible. And by doing this, I know exactly what shots I want. This is handy if you want to be a filmmaker in general, because pretty much as a rule for any film, pre-production is key. You want to know exactly what shots you're doing, you want to know the locations, you want to know the equipment that you need. Preparation is key. Now that we're off the desk, I use a light that I got off Amazon. It's around $40. It's a great light, but the stand is a little bit shaky. It falls over constantly. And once you get into the right position, it works quite well. In fact, I'm using it right now. If you're in dark areas or a dark apartment and you kind of need to add that natural light look or just brighten up a scene in general, lighting does work quite well. SD cards. You need as many SD cards or as much SD card storage as you can handle. You can have one big one, however I like to use multiple. Because I'm filming multiple different videos at once, I find having 2 or 3 SD cards really helps. Because I know, for example, on this SD card, I have my What the Net video, and on the SD card I'm currently using will be my vlog. This way if I'm out and about, I don't have to sift through unnecessary footage to look back at some footage that I need to look back on beforehand. Does that make sense? You get what I mean. And the most important thing, apart from the camera that you need, a second battery. I know it doesn't seem that important, but trust me, if you're out and about and your battery dies, you're screwed. You got nothing left. And so I like to have 2 batteries on the go. I've got one in the camera at all times, and I've got one on charge. And that way, if I have to go out and do a big filming day, I'm not worried about running out of battery. Now, the camera that I like to film on, which is the one I'm currently using, is the Canon 200D Mark II. It's cheap for a DSLR. It's around $750, but it comes with the camera, and it comes with an 18 to 55mm lens, but we'll get to that. It's 4K, however, I rarely use 4K just because it uses up a lot of the SD cards and drains the battery. But if you really want to shoot in 4K, this one has it. I find it's good on low light. It has a flip out screen so I can look at myself right now. Hey. By the way, just a small add-on tip, if you are starting to film and you've never filmed yourself before, make sure you look at the lens, don't look at the monitor. Because see, I'm looking at the screen and I'm not actually looking at the camera. But if I look here, I'm looking right at you, aren't I? Yeah, you can see that, but not here. Yeah? No. You get it. Moving on. It has great autofocus, and the 18 to 55mm lens, as I said, is okay as a beginner. So this is a great beginner camera. You can obviously get better cameras, but I find for a starter, this has all the things that you need to get yourself going with quite a good price. If you want to wait though, wait for a deal, because I got this one for about $650. So, pretty cool. On top of the camera, I use a Rode VideoMic Pro. If you're doing a lot of shooting outside or very dialogue heavy videos, I'd suggest getting one of these. It's portable, it doesn't really stick out too much in comparison to some of the bigger mics. I find it gives good quality sound and it just does the job. There's not really much to say about it. It's around $220, $230. Just for me at least, I'll watch a video that has better audio with not so good video. However, if the video has bad audio, I really can't watch it. So audio is very important. The last 2 things I use is my GorillaPod and my tripod. These are great because if you don't have a wide lens, they can give you a bit of depth and distance. You see, because I'm holding it on the GorillaPod right now, but if I was to hold it right here, it just wouldn't give me as much reach. And unless you're The Rock, you kind of need that distance. And I can show you things that are behind me and I can move around the room freely rather than being constrained to a tripod. Now, I've been uploading videos for about 9 months now, and I only recently split the channels about 3 to 4 months ago. I'm going to be doing a video soon about the benefits of having 2 channels, so make sure you stick around for that one. And there's a couple of things that I feel like I still need to help make the videos easy to make and better quality. The Canon 10 to 18mm lens. Now, the 18 to 55 is good when you're starting, but I find for a lot of the shots that I have to put the camera way back to get things that I want in frame, because it's not a very wide lens. It's a versatile lens, but not very wide. The 10 to 18 would add a lot more depth and be able to get things in shot that I want to get into shot. Pretty straightforward. Next is a more powerful computer. I can't stress enough that if you can afford a more powerful computer, or if you're looking where to delegate your money, getting a good computer is key. I've recently started using Adobe Premiere. After Effects, and Photoshop, and character animation, pretty much the whole Adobe family. I'm already seeing how slow it's making my computer. And in order to make better videos, and I really want to learn Adobe Premiere and After Effects, and it's going to take time, granted, but I'm going to need a better computer. So this year, going to upgrade the computer. And lastly, two things that I won't get for a while because I don't really think they're overly necessary. It's just going to help the videos in the long run to make them look cooler. And I've kept them in mind for future videos, and that's a drone and a gimbal. I'm sure everybody knows what a drone is and what the drones do, but if you don't know what a gimbal is, it basically helps to keep slow, steady shots. Now, I could never be a surgeon. I've got me some shaky hands. And so when I'm trying to do some slow panning shots, sometimes it does get a little bit difficult, but I can get by for now. But that's it, guys. That's my beginner YouTube video setup. Remember, these aren't things you have to have. These are just things that I've found that make my videos easy to make and streamlines the process. There's always ways to improve, but the best way to improve is to just get started. This year I'm working on myself, channeling the whole work hard and be lucky attitude. Whether it's challenging my body, my self-development, or my filmmaking skills, I find that those 4 words really help cement the idea that I want for you guys out of this channel and the way I want to progress forward in the future. So if you want to grow with me, make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. It would be much appreciated. And remember, whatever your passion, work hard and be lucky.